The Senate will come to order. The senators will please take their seats. Those persons not entitled to the privilege of the floor will please retire to the gallery. The senators and all in attendance will stand and be led in prayer by the Reverend Shane Schlesman from West End Assembly of God in Richmond, Virginia. Following the prayer, all will remain standing and be led in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America by Senate Page Grace Seguilio.
Thank you. Let us pray. Lord God and Creator, we come before you today to praise your name and to ask your blessing on this esteemed assembly. Lord, we need your vision and creativity to find a pathway forward in seemingly impossible decisions. And Lord, we need your strength to withstand opposition towards progress. We need your wisdom to know when to change and when to stand firm. We ask for you, Lord, to empower this great body of leaders to champion justice for the oppressed, to administer grace to the fallen, healing to the sick, and restoration to the broken. Lord, I ask that you give all of us as community leaders discernment as we partner with one another to find solutions to our common problems. I ask and pray for a spirit of unity and harmony as it relates to policies that help the Commonwealth of Virginia, and respect as it relates to our differences. May this state and this city be a beacon of light across the darkness that divides us in our country. Use these men and women gathered here today to accomplish together what they could only dream of individually. We ask this in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The clerk will call the roll. All those in attendance will please record their vote aye. The clerk will close the roll.
You have a quorum, Mr. President. Senate Journal for Tuesday, February 18th, 2020.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Senator from Augusta, Senator Hanger, moves that the reading of the journal be waived. All in favor of waiving the reading of the journal will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 35, noes 3.
Ayes 35, noes 3. The reading of the journal is waived. The clerk will report any communication from the House of Delegates. Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
Mr. President, I move that we waive the reading of the communications from the House of Delegates.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the reading of the communication from the House of Delegates be waived? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senator desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 37, noes 2.
Ayes 37, noes 2. The reading of the communication from the House of Delegates is waived. The clerk will report any communication from the governor.
I do not have any, sir.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
Mr. President, I move that we suspend the rules and grant the privileges of the floor to a very special guest who is a former member of this body and a very prominent one.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the rules be suspended and the privileges of the floor be granted to a distinguished person? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The rules are suspended. The privileges of the floor are granted. Chair recognizes Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw, for the purpose of presenting our distinguished guests.
Mr. President, members of the Senate, we have with us today former member of the State Senate from Virginia Beach, and a very prominent and very influential one. And if former Governor McAuliffe were here today, he would say probably one of the greatest sheriffs of all time, Ken Stolle.
Senior Senator from Virginia Beach, Senator D. Steph.
Mr. President, I rise for an introduction.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce a peer to many that are here today, a friend to all, brother of my seatmate, my predecessor once removed, my sheriff, my friend, former senator, our current sheriff in Virginia Beach, someone when he said, I think we have a problem with this bill, it may have to go back to courts, meant that it wasn't going to see the light of day ever again. Sheriff Ken Stolle.
Thank the Senator. Sheriff Ken Stolle, would you rise? Let's give him one more round of applause. Sheriff Ken Stolle, thank you very much. For what purpose, Senator from Eastern Fairfax, Senator Servell, rise?
I rise for request.
The Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will the Journal please reflect that my seatmate, the Senator from the City of Fairfax, is away on personal pressing business?
Thank the Senator. The Journal will so note. Now comes a time in the morning hour where we have the privilege and the honor of recognizing our distinguished guests with us here in the Senate gallery. I will give my daily reminder. The way this will proceed is that a senator will stand up and recognize an individual or a group. I will then offer the warm welcome of the Senate, and at the very end, we will all applaud together. I'd like to begin by recognizing the Senator from Henrico, Senator Donovan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
Thank the Senator. You have the floor.
Mr. President, I am so grateful that we started off our session today with prayers and words and insight from Reverend Shane Shushman, who is from West End Assembly of God in my district. It is an enormous, active, vibrant, beautiful church community that does so much for Henrico, not just for their members, but all year long for all the rest of us. He's accompanied today by Pastor Bob Laughlin, and I hope that you will offer them a warm welcome, and in absentia, his wonderful wife, my friend Sue.
I thank the Senator. Will the Reverend Shane Schlesman and Pastor Bob Laughlin please rise to the gallery? Reverend, thank you so much for that phenomenal prayer, and thank you for your tremendous work in the community, as echoed by Senator from Henrico, Senator Donovan. Pastor Laughlin, thank you, too, for your moral leadership here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We are very grateful for all that you do, and you, of course, are welcome back here anytime. I would ask everyone to please join me to extend the warmest welcome of the Senate to our two distinguished guests. Senator from Rockingham, Senator Obenshain.
Mr. President, I rise for an introduction.
Thank the Senator. You have the floor.
Mr. President, every citizen of the Commonwealth of Virginia has a sheriff. It is a constitutionally established post. It is constitutionally independent, as sheriffs across Virginia will remind us regularly. One of my good friends and Sheriff of Shenandoah County is here today. Sheriff Tim Carter is actually president of the Virginia Sheriff's Association this year, and he's joined by many other sheriffs from across the Commonwealth of Virginia. Sheriff Carter chairs the Virginia Sheriff's Association, which was founded in 1933, and they represent 8,500 deputy sheriffs across the Commonwealth of Virginia. There are 116 sheriffs in the Commonwealth, and the sheriffs made over 65,000 arrests last year, keeping our community safe. They served more than 3 million civil processes. They provide courthouse security and courtroom security for all of our courts across the Commonwealth of Virginia, and they run our local jails. They are the only elected law enforcement on the front lines, keeping our community safe every day across the Commonwealth of Virginia. Mr. President, I would ask that you kindly extend the warm welcome of the Senate to Sheriff Carter and the many other sheriffs from across the Commonwealth of Virginia who join us here in the Capitol today.
I thank the Senator. Would Sheriff Carter, our other sheriffs, John Jones, the Executive Director of the Sheriff Association, and all sheriffs and deputy sheriffs in the gallery, please rise if you are able. Thank you all so much for joining us here today. It is really an honor and a privilege to have each one of you here in your Capitol, in the Senate, and to thank you for all the tremendous work that you do every single day all throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia to keep all 8.5 million Virginians safe, to keep our communities prosperous, the sacrifices that you make, putting your lives on the line every single day for our families and our communities. We could not be more grateful to this distinguished group of men and women for all that your families do to sacrifice as well, for your work. We are deeply grateful as a Commonwealth of Virginia. So we echo the eloquent and generous words of the Senator from Rockingham, Senator Obenshain, all 40 senators here, our staff, our pages, our staff here in the Capitol. We all show our appreciation to you today and every single day. We wish you nothing but the best and God's blessings. And I would ask everybody to please join me in extending the warmest welcome of the Senate to our distinguished guests. Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for purposes of an introduction.
Thank you, Senator. You have the floor.
Mr. President, I think that everyone on the floor of the Senate, as they have looked around the gallery and the halls today, it seems to be a day of uniforms. And both of these uniforms are extremely important to me, but I have an especial affection for a group of young ladies and young men who are in the gallery who have carried on the tradition of duty, honor, Commonwealth, and country since November of 1839. And, Mr. President, I would appreciate it if you would extend an extraordinary warm welcome of the Senate of Virginia to the cadets from the Virginia Military Institute who are with us today.
I thank the Senator. Would our friends and leaders from the Virginia Military Institute please rise to the gallery if you are able?
That's my flag.
Thank you very much to our extraordinary cadets from VMI. We are grateful to have you here. We are thankful for your service and your sacrifice. And Senator Norman, James City County, a proud alum of VMI, along with Governor Northam, also I'm sure would send his heartiest congratulations to each one of you. So we appreciate you. We honor you, and you're welcome back here anytime in your Capitol. And I would ask everyone to please join me in extending the warmest welcome of the Senate to the cadets from VMI. A second. Okay. Senator from Hanover, Senator McDougal.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I rise for the purposes of an introduction.
Senator, you have the floor.
Mr. President, in the gallery today, we also have a very special guest, and that is the political minister from the Embassy of Japan, Minister Ichikawa, and he is joined in the gallery by his second secretary, Uchino, and Nori Takai. Mr. President, Japan has a large presence in Virginia with over 85 Japanese companies that employ thousands of Virginians, and they are here today to talk about their continued positive relationship with Virginia and to meet with leaders here, not only in the Senate, but down the hall and across the street. Mr. President, we are very proud to have Japan as an ally and friend, and ask that you offer them the warm welcome of the Senate, and thanks for their friendship.
I thank the Senator. Would Minister Ichikawa and distinguished guests from the Japanese ministry please rise in the gallery if you are able? Minister Ishikawa, thank you so much for joining us here today. Thank you for all of your tremendous friendship to the Commonwealth of Virginia. As Senator from Hanover, Senator McDougal, so eloquently stated, you do so much business here in the Commonwealth, and you've been a dear friend to us for many, many years, and we look forward to growing that relationship over time. And so we appreciate you taking the time to come and visit with us, and look forward to building those bonds for many decades to come. I would ask everyone to please join me in extending the warmest welcome of the Senate to our friend and leader, Minister Ishikawa. The senior senator from Richmond City, Senator McClellan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for an introduction.
Thank you, Senator. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Joining us in the gallery and around the Capitol today are members of the Virginia Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. These are registered dietitians and students from across the Commonwealth who serve the citizens through medical nutrition therapy and their dietary expertise. Among other things, they've been advocating for Senate Bill 1073 to address food deserts in Virginia and to provide insurance coverage of medically necessary formula. I ask that you give them a warm Senate welcome.
Thank the Senator. Would our friends and leaders from the Virginia Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics please rise in the gallery if you are able? Thank you all so much for joining us here today, and thank you for your tremendous work all throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia to help our communities and our families to be healthier, to live longer, more productive lives through their diet, nutrition, and teaching healthy habits going on from childhood on into adulthood. And so we really appreciate your dedication, your commitment to a very important profession. And we echo the eloquent and generous words of the senior senator from Richmond City, Senator McClellan. You are welcome back here anytime. And I would ask everyone to please join me in extending the warmest welcome of the Senate to our distinguished guests. The junior senator from Chesterfield, Senator Hashmi.
Good morning, Mr. President. I rise for purpose of introduction.
Morning, Senator. You have the floor.
Mr. President, I'm delighted to introduce folks in our gallery from St. Gertrude's High School. St. Gertrude's High School is located in my district, and it is a strong institution for the education of young women in the Richmond City area. It was founded in 1922 and has established a reputation for academic excellence, and I'm delighted that we have seniors from the high school who are visiting us today in the General Assembly. I ask that you give the warm welcome of the Senate to the young ladies of St. Gertrude's High School.
I thank the Senator. Would our friends and leaders from St. Gertrude's High School in the gallery please rise if you are able? Thank you all so much for joining us here today in your Senate and your Capitol. We are honored by your presence and grateful for your leadership. Your seniors going out into the world do extraordinary things, and so we appreciate all you do to represent Virginia so well and to make our nation a better place. So we echo the eloquent and generous words of the junior senator from Chesterfield, Senator Hashmi. You're welcome back here anytime, and I would ask everyone to please join me in extending the warmest welcome of the Senate to our young leaders from St. Gertrude's High School. Senator from Williamsburg, Senator Mason.
Thank you, Mr. President, I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, today we have officers. This is the 73rd year of the Model General Assembly here in Virginia. This is where students from across the state, from all high schools, come on April 2nd and 4th, so we'd love to have you come by and participate. They debate bills, they have committees, they sit here on the floor, pass legislation. The governor was a participant, Senator Vogel and Senator Lewis and I were also participants in high school. I'm going to try to get this right, so I think on behalf of Senator Pillion, Suderline and Edwards Deeds, Eben, Peake, and Obenchain, I would like to introduce you to the officers now, Mr. President. So, Mr. President, if you would welcome the youth governor, Connor White, from Graham High School in Tazewell County. Lieutenant Governor Olivia Schreeman from Faith Christian School in Roanoke. Attorney General Mercedes Geering from the Renaissance School in Charlottesville. House Speaker Rose Hayman from H.B. Woodlawn Program in Arlington. House Speaker Pro Tem Roman Davis from the Fuqua School in my old stomping grounds in Farmville, Virginia. And finally, Mr. President, the Senate President Pro Tem, of which we have a new outstanding one ourselves, Kyle Fisher from Spotswood High School in Rockingham County. So, Mr. President, it's an important program for young students to learn what we do, and obviously from the participants you see here, it leads to hopefully them being down here with us one day. So, Mr. President, I hope you give them the warm welcome to the Senate.
I thank the Senator. Would our leaders and officers from the Model General Assembly please continue to rise? You're such leaders, you've already risen, if you are able. Thank you all so much for joining us here today. It's an honor and a privilege to have you in the Capitol, in your Capitol. We know you'll be back here in April to actually carry out the General Assembly session, and so we look forward to that and your continued leadership here in Virginia and throughout this country for many years to come. We echo the eloquent and generous words of the Senator from Williamsburg, Senator Mason, along with all the other senators, many of whom, as he mentioned, participated in this wonderful program. And so you all have much bright futures ahead of you, and we're grateful for all you do to stay committed and dedicated to our highest ideals as a Commonwealth and to help us all rise and to move together forward and united. So I would ask everyone to please join me to send the warmest welcome of the Senate to our young leaders and officers of the Model General Assembly. Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, it's Hokie Day at the Capitol.
Senator,
we have with us President Tim Sands, and we have many students that are roaming the halls of the General Assembly advocating for higher education. And we have a very special member of the Hokie Nation with us today. Robert Eugene Foster Jr. is his full name, better known as Coach Bud Foster. And he's here with his wife, lovely wife, Jessie, in the gallery, Mr. President. After 33 years of service to the Virginia Tech Hokies football team, Coach Foster announced his retirement last fall. Bud Foster is the longest continually tenured Division I assistant coach in one school. Imagine. And he was integral to the Hokies' national championship game in 1999 and their 27-year bowl streak, which is incredible. It's the longest active bowl streak recognized by the NCAA. Can you imagine? Mr. President, Bud Foster is nationally known for developing a very distinctive and innovative lunch pail defense, as we call it, a defensive strategy which has been responsible for, get this, 856 sacks and 380 interceptions during his time at Virginia Tech. I'm going to repeat that. 856 sacks and 380 interceptions during his time at Virginia Tech. Mr. President, for more than a generation, Coach Foster has been a fundamental part of the Virginia Tech football team, and he will forever be part of the Hokie Nation. And he leaves behind a legacy that will be cherished for years and years by the students, the faculty, the student athletes, and most importantly, the fans of Virginia Tech. And he has affected the lives and positively affected the lives of the student athletes of Virginia Tech for a long, long time. Mr. President, I hope you will give Coach Bud Foster and his lovely wife, Jessie, the warmest welcome of the Senate.
Thank the Senator. Would our friend Bud Foster and your wife Jessie Foster please rise in the gallery if you're able? Bud and Jessie, thank you all so much for joining us here today. It's an honor and a privilege to have both of you in the Capitol. We're so grateful for your tremendous service at Virginia Tech and all that you've done to raise this Commonwealth of Virginia and to help so many people to aspire to higher ideals. And so 33 years at one institution speaks to your dedication and your commitment. And Jessie, thank you for all your sacrifice to make that possible. So you've made this Commonwealth a better place and this nation a better place because of your work. And we echo the eloquent and generous words of the Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards. You are always welcome back here. And today we're all Hokies. And I would ask everyone to please join me to send the warmest welcome of the Senate to our distinguished leaders, Bud and Jessie Foster. Senator from Fauquier County, Senator Vogel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for purposes of an introduction.
I thank the senator. You have the floor.
I was just getting the information that I needed right before you called on me. I'm super excited, Mr. President, that I have so many people in the gallery from Fauquier County today. I was headed up the stairs to see the Fauquier County Sheriff, Sheriff Mosier, when a gigantic group of school students passed me on the stairs, and the sheriff said, "You know, those are all your people from home." And I'm like, "No, they're not. I haven't seen them the whole day." And he said, "Yes, they are." And in fact, they are. They're all here from Fauquier County. They're middle school students from Taylor, Auburn, and Warrenton middle schools. And with that, I would love for you to welcome them, encourage them to stick around today and learn something while they're here. And I hope that I will have a chance to visit with them. I hope they don't leave too quickly. But please extend to them the very, very warm welcome of the Senate and with their chaperones and teachers who are here today as well. Thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the senator. Would our young leaders from Fauquier County middle schools please rise in the gallery if you are able? Thank you all so much for being here today. Thank you for spending time to be in your capital, in your Senate of Virginia. We're always grateful to see you. Thank you to the teachers and the parents for chaperoning these great young people here today. And your senator, Senator Vogel, is very proud of each and every one of you, as we all are. So keep up your great work. Do well in school. Treat each other with respect and kindness, and good things will happen to you in life. So we'd ask everybody to please join me in sending the warmest welcome of the Senate to our young leaders from Fauquier County middle schools. For what purpose, Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe, rise. Okay. Do any other senators wish to be recognized for purposes of an introduction?
Mr. President.
Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I rise for purposes of an introduction that some guests are now in the gallery, sir.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, today we have recognized some leaders in education and leaders in law enforcement and leaders on the gridiron. I would like, Mr. President, for you to extend a very warm welcome to a gentleman who is a leader in innovative industry on it, and we are very pleased today to have with us in the gallery Rabbi Yehuda Perl, and he is the founder of a company that probably not many of you have heard of called Sabra Dripping Company, which is the largest and the world's largest humus factory, located just 20 miles from here in Colonial Heights. And it is an iconic brand that is seen around the world. The interesting thing is that after due diligence, the rabbi decided that he was going to make his decision to locate in Virginia, and he did that because of the warm greeting and the economic client that we have in Virginia. He was so impressed with his initial venture that he has given the Commonwealth of Virginia the right of first refusal on his newest business venture, which is known as UBQ Materials. Earlier this year, Speaker Philicorn and I had the opportunity to meet with the rabbi's CEO in Tel Aviv, and he has a remarkable product that is worth reflecting on just for a few minutes. What he can do and his company is doing is they are taking a combination of household waste and organics, which includes food, garden waste, combined with unrecyclable plastics and other polymers, and turn them into these little pellets that can be used in a number of different industrial-grade plastic products. To give you some idea that McDonald's and Mercedes and many others are, in fact, using these products. The rabbi is here today and is going to appear before the Senate General Laws Committee that encourages the Commonwealth to remain responsible with recycling and to use this product. So if you would be so kind to extend a very warm welcome to Rabbi Perl, who's with us today.
Thank the senator. Would Rabbi Yehuda Perl please rise in the gallery if you are able? Rabbi, thank you so much for joining us here today. Thank you also for your investment in the Commonwealth of Virginia and for your leadership, both in business and in the environment. We are very appreciative of thoughtful leaders like you who help to move us all forward and bring us all together. So we appreciate you. We echo the generous and eloquent words of the Senator from James City County, Senator Norman, and I would ask everyone to please join me in extending the warmest welcome of the Senate to Rabbi Yehuda Pearl. Do any other senators wish to be recognized for purposes of an introduction? Is there any other business to come before the Senate in the morning hour? Seeing none. Good now. Okay. Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would now ask that the Senate please stand in recess until 12:45 and that the members of the Senate Republican caucus retire down to the prayer room very timely.
Thank the Senator. Senator from Hampton, Senator Locke.
Mr. President, I ask that the Senate Democratic Caucus meet in the back room.
Thank the Senator. Without objection, the Senate will stand in recess until 12:45 p.m. The Senate will come to order. The senators will please take their seats. Those persons not entitled to the privilege of the floor will please retire to the gallery. Senator from Augusta, Senator Hanger.
Thank you, Mr. President. Could we return to the morning hour for purpose of an introduction?
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the Senate. I'm pleased to draw your attention to the fact a group of students from James Madison University who are part of their workload there is in the area of non-point studies for students. It's a particular area that they have a minor in there now. Had an opportunity to meet with them this morning, and I believe they're in the gallery now, Mr. President. I would ask you to welcome them to the Senate.
I thank the Senator. Would our friends and leaders from James Madison University nonprofit study students please rise to the gallery if you are able? Thank you all so much for joining us here today in your Senate and in your Capitol. We're grateful for your presence and for your leadership in such an important field of endeavor. And I know the Senator from Augusta, Senator Hanger, along with other JMU alums and other senators who support that wonderful university, are very appreciative of all that you do every single day to make this Commonwealth a better place to live, work, and to raise a family. So I would ask everyone to please join me in sending the warmest welcome of the Senate to our leaders from James Madison University. Do any other senators wish to be recognized in the morning hour? Is there any other business to come before the Senate? Seeing none, the clerk will call the calendar.
Senate calendar for Wednesday, February 19th, 2020. Unfinished business Senate. Senate Bill 110, a bill relating to research and development tax credits, sunset aggregate caps, passed the House with a substitute.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would ask that we reject the House amendment. We are in conflict over the amount that the tax credit will be and also over the sunset. And I would hope that we would reject the House amendment.
Thank the Senator. With the recommendation that it be rejected, the question is, shall the Senate concur in the House substitute? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 2, noes 35.
Ayes 2, noes 35. The Senate rejects the House substitute.
Senate Bill 200 has passed the House with amendment.
Senator from Southern Fairfax, Senator Barker.
Mr. President, with a recommendation that it be rejected, I move that we concur with the House amendment.
Senators, the floor.
The House amendment is just one simple thing. It removes the sunset. And we've been insistent upon making sure that for tax credits such as this, that the sunset will be in place.
Thank the Senator. With the recommendation that it be rejected, the question is, shall the Senate concur in the House amendment? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 0, noes 37.
Ayes 0, noes 37. The Senate does not concur in the House amendment.
Senate Bill 268 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator from Loudoun County, Senator Bell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we accept the House substitute.
Thank the Senator. You have the floor.
It is with great trepidation that I make the recommendation we accept the House substitute. This is Speaker Fillercorn's bill, and I spoke with her about it. It does a couple things that I think actually make the bill a little bit better. It has no sunset clause and also changes the upper limit to $1,500. We actually checked on the gun storage devices. This is more in line with the price of these type of storage devices we're looking at. So with that, Mr. President, I move that we accept.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 31, noes 6.
Ayes 31, noes 6. The Senate concurs with the House substitute.
Uncontested calendar, House bills on third reading.
Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
Mr. President, I move that all House bills on third reading on the uncontested calendar, pages 2 through 12, that's House Bill 60 through House Bill 1655, be advanced to their final passage in a block after the adoption of any amendments thereto, and any senator desiring to remove bill from the block, please do so after the clerk has read the number of the bill.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall House bills on the uncontested calendar third reading, pages 2 through 12, House Bill 60 through House Bill 1655, be placed upon their final passage in a block after the adoption of any amendments thereto, with the understanding that any senator desiring a bill be removed from the block will do so after the clerk has read the number of the bill. All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The bills are before us in the block. Clerk will read the number of the bills.
House Bill 60, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary. House Bill 168, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 171, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 245, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary. House Bill 345, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 441, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 464, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 475, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary with a substitute.
Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, I move that the substitute be adopted.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the committee substitute be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee substitute is adopted.
House Bill 554, reported from the Committee on Local Government.
Mr. President.
Senior Senator from Richmond City, Senator McClellan.
I'm not sure if this is the right time, but could House Bill 554 come out of the block?
Without objection, House Bill 554 will come out of the block.
House Bill 558, reported from the Committee on Local Government with amendment.
Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Mr. President, move the committee amendment.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the committee amendment be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendment is adopted.
House Bill 629, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 651, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary with amendments.
Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, I move that the committee amendments be adopted.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the committee amendments be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendments are adopted.
House Bill 656, reported from the Committee on Local Government with amendments.
Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Mr. President, move adoption of the committee amendments.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the committee amendments be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendments are adopted.
House Bill 738, reported from the Committee on Local Government.
Mr. President.
Senator from King George, Senator Stewart.
Could House Bill 738 come out of the block, please?
Without objection, House Bill 738 is removed from the block.
House Bill 742, reported from the Committee on Local Government with a substitute.
Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Mr. President, I move adoption of the committee substitute.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the committee substitute be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee substitute is adopted.
House Bill 749, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 790, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary with a substitute.
Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, I move the committee substitute be adopted.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the committee substitute be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee substitute is adopted.
House Bill 846, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 870, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary with an amendment.
Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, I move the committee amendment be adopted.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the committee amendment be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendment is adopted.
House Bill 923, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary. House Bill 929, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 938, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 998, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 1064, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 1070, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary. House Bill 1071, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary.
Mr. President.
Senator from Roanoke County, Senator Suderline.
Can House Bill 1071 come out of the block?
Without objection, House Bill 1071 is removed from the block.
House Bill 1233, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 1267, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 1369, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 1565, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 1585, reported from the Committee on Local Government. House Bill 1655, reported from the Committee on Local Government with amendment.
Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Mr. President, move adoption of the committee amendment.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the committee amendment be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendment is adopted. The question is, shall the House bills pass in a block?
Mr. President.
Senator from Bedford, Senator Newman.
Page 9. Could House Bill 923 come out of the block?
Without objection, House Bill 923 will be removed from the block. The question is, shall the House bills pass in a block? That is all bills except for House Bills 554, 738, 1071, and 923. All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The bills in the block pass.
Returning to page 5, House Bill 554.
Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Just a second, Mr. President. I'll be right with you. Mr. President, House Bill 554 authorizes a locality to disapprove an application submitted for an administrative review eligible project or for any zoning approval required for a standard process project that proposes to locate a new structure or to co-locate a wireless facility in an area where all cable and public utility facilities are required to be placed underground by a date certain or encouraged to be underground as part of a transportation improvement project. This requires that the applicant have given written notice to adjoining landowners at least 15 days before it applies to locate a new structure in the area. It's a notice requirement, Mr. President, and the 15 days, I think, is the operative meat of the bill. So with that being said, Mr. President, I move the bill pass.
Thank the Senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 554?
Mr.
What purpose Senator from Eastern Fairfax, Senator Surville, rise.
Could that bill go by for the day?
Without objection, House Bill 554 will go by for the day.
Page 7, House Bill 738.
Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. House Bill 738, Mr. President, provides that, if I can just get to my notes, Mr. President, provides that the presiding officer of a board of supervisors shall be called chairman, chairwoman, chair, chairperson, or chair at large in the presiding officer's discretion.
Thank the Senator.
Move the bill pass.
Thank the Senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 738?
Mr. President.
Senator from King George, Senator Stewart.
Would the gentleman yield for a question?
Will Senator yield?
I'm going to stand up and tell you I'm going to yield, but I'm not going to be much on answering questions. But go ahead.
Senator will yield. Senator's
Would
the floor.
the gentleman attempt to answer a question?
I will attempt. Yes,
Senator will
sir.
attempt. You have
Thank
the
you,
floor.
Mr. President. I'd ask the gentleman, why are we determining in this bill what localities can call their presiding officer? Why can't we let the localities call the presiding officer what they deem is appropriate? Why is the General Assembly deciding that?
Senator's the floor.
Mr. President, I think there was some testimony about the need for it to be in code. There was the chairwoman of the Fairfax Board of Supervisors, I believe, was there. That's about the best I can do for you. I'll yield.
Senator from Loudoun, Senator Bell.
If you'll yield, I will try to answer this question.
Senator yields. You have the floor.
Mr. President, the chair of the Loudoun Board is Chairwoman Phyllis Randall, and in their written and formal communications, they have to refer to her as chairman. and we actually had council verify that. So their request to do this is so they can make this several options referring to gender, so they could actually allow her to in official correspondence, use chair or chairwoman or other forms. So actually, in the current format, the localities don't have the permission to do that.
Mr. President.
Further question?
Yield for another question.
Senator Yield.
Mr. President, I will certainly try.
Senator Yield, you have the floor.
Why have we determined that we're not allowed to call a woman presiding officer, for instance, Madam Chair?
Senator, the floor.
Mr. President, it's actually in the code and Constitution, actually, that they cannot do that. So right now it's only chairmen. So it doesn't give them that flexibility as using the title as the gentleman just used.
Mr. President.
Further question?
Is this bill limited to Loudoun County or Fairfax County?
Senator, the floor.
Mr. President, is not, and I suspect, frankly, the issues that Loudoun County is having, other counties will have in the future, and this gives the chair of each county, again, the ability to be referred to in the correct gender terms.
Mr. President, one last question.
Further question, Senator Yield.
I yield.
And then perhaps I didn't ask my question very well the first time. I have always referred to a female presiding officer as Madam Chair, and I thought that was the correct way to do it. And we even refer to our President Pro Tem as Madam President. Why do you not think we should be able to refer to the presiding officer as Madam Chair? You've not allowed that in the bill.
Senator, the floor.
Mr. President, in the tradition of yielding, I will yield to the seniors. The senior senator from Richmond.
Senator Yield. Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If you look in the bill itself, Section 15.2, entitled Electing a Chairman and Vice Chairman or Mayor or Vice Mayor, in that code section, it says that the chair shall be called chairman. So the General Assembly already decided at some point that all chairs would be called chairman, regardless of whether they are a man or a woman, and says they shall be called that. This bill just gives the flexibility that you just asked if they could have to the locality to call them Madam Chair, Chairwoman, or whatever they want to other than Chairman.
Further question?
Well, no, Mr. President, speaking to the bill.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, the point I'm trying to make is why are we limiting this? I don't understand why we're limiting this. Why don't we just repeal that? Why don't we strike the section chairman and say they have to elect a presiding officer? Why do we now determine you've got four? You can call them four different, whatever you want to call it, but you can't use another term that is absolutely appropriate. It seems to me if you're going to do this, strike chairman and then let them call the proper term.
For what purpose is Senator from Arlington, Senator Favola, rise?
Speaking to the bill and perhaps attempting to respond to questions that have been going back and forth. Thank you, Mr. President. When you say Madam Chair, Madam is the way you would address a female. So this doesn't prohibit a locality from having folks address the chair as Madam Chair, if that makes you feel better. I mean, this is a simple bill since the statute already says, our current law already says that the presiding officer must be called chairman. This is attempting to give other options. It's a simple bill. We should pass this. We probably shouldn't debate it much longer. Having said that, I again move that the bill pass. Thank you.
Thanks, Senator. For what purpose is Senator from Northwestern Fairfax, Senator Boysko, rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. Speaking to the bill.
Senator has the floor.
Certainly. So in Fairfax County, the chairman was Sharon Bulova for a number of years. Her official title was chairman. With this bill, this would allow her to have been called chairwoman, but perhaps there is an interest in the body just to change it to chair, so it would be a gender-neutral thing. I think we could consider that if that might be something amenable. This is just addressing the fact that as more women are coming into leadership, we should reflect their titles in their name.
Thank the Senator. For what purpose, Senator from Roanoke County, Senator Suderline rise?
Mr. President, I do think that we've perhaps debated too long. Having lived in Fairfax County at one point, it didn't stop Sharon Bulova. In Roanoke County, it didn't stop Martha Hooker. I do think that it ought to be corrected, but I don't think this is the way to do it as expressed by the senator from King George. So I would move that the bill go by temporarily, and then an amendment could be put forward before the Senate. So I move the bill go by temporarily, pass by temporarily.
Without objection? Seeing no objection, House Bill 738 will go by temporarily.
Page 9, House Bill 923.
Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards. Page 9, House Bill 923.
Well, I move the bill I move the passage of the bills, House Bill 923.
Senator has the floor.
Yeah, it takes out the term habitual drunkard because it's unconstitutional.
Thank the Senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 923? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 923 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 3.
Ayes 36, noes 3. House Bill 923 passes.
On page 10, House Bill 1071.
From Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass by way of explanation.
There's the floor.
House Bill 1071 simply legalizes the art of expectorating in public places. That is spitting. No, this is, I thought it was 1070. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought he pulled out of the block 1070. All right, 1071, Mr. President. It legalizes the art of this practice too often by too many people. It legalizes swearing. That's what it does. You like it? Vote for it. If you don't like it, vote against it.
Mr. President.
Senator from Franklin County, Senator Stanley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will the gentleman yield for a question on this bill?
Will the senator yield?
Mr. President, as long as I'm not sweared at.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, I asked the gentleman if he could recite for us the exact words which would now be legalized here in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, I'm not that imaginative, but I expect the senator from Franklin County is imaginative.
Mr. President, will you yield for one more?
Will Senator yield?
Yeah, I yield.
Senator yields. You have the floor.
Mr. President, I asked the gentleman, if I say a word, will he agree or disagree that this word is now legal?
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, yes, but I wish you would not.
Thank you,
We're a polite body.
Thanks, Senator. What purpose does the junior senator from Richmond City, Senator Morrissey, run?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I was asleep at the wheel. Could you remove HB 1070 from the block?
It already passed, so we'd have to come back and reconsider. Well,
can we?
I'll tell you what. Let's finish with 71, if that's okay, and then we'll move forward. What purpose does the senator from Fauquier, Senator Vogel, rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. Since we seem to be spending a day on tedium, I would like to ask if the senator would yield for a question.
Senator yield.
Mr. President, I assume the senator refers to the senator from Roanoke City.
Senator from Roanoke would yield for a question.
Senator yield?
Yes.
Senator yields. You have the floor.
So I would just like to clarify this point. If we pass HB 1071, Is it the case then that I will no longer be able to say, if I hear one of my children swear, as is sometimes the case, or as is often the case, one kid got sent home for spitting, that if you spit, it's illegal and it's a crime, and in this case, if you swear, it's a crime. So that means that is now no longer the case, and I now no longer have this high Virginia standard with which to uphold my household and my community.
Senators, the floor.
Mr. President, I would answer the question by pointing out there's a difference between what is legal and what is moral and decent.
Further question?
Mr. President, I would just say the struggles with parenthood grow harder and harder every week. But I'm in the legislature. I have so few things to cling to. And when my children have spit, I have said that is a crime. And the same with swearing. So thank you, Mr. President. I will vote for the bill, but against interest. Thank you.
Thank the Senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 1071? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 1071 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 31, noes 7, Rule 36-1.
Ayes 31, noes 7, Rule 36-1. House Bill 1071 passes.
On page 13, regular calendar, House bills on third reading. House Bill 257, a bill relating to school principals' incident reports. Reported from the Committee on Education and Health, and there is a floor substitute.
Mr. President, I move that the bill pass, or do you want to do this floor substitute?
You want to go first? Okay. Senior Senator from Richmond City, Senator McClellan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the reading of the floor amendment be waived.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the reading of the floor substitute be waived? All in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The reading of the floor substitute is waived. Senior Senator from Richmond City, Senator McClellan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the floor substitute be adopted, and speaking to that.
Senator, it's the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. House Bill 257 is the House version of Senate Bill 729, which we passed, that returns discretion to principals about what incidents that could constitute a misdemeanor to refer to law enforcement and which ones they can handle through the disciplinary process. This floor substitute conforms the House bill to the Senate bill with the concurrence of the patron. All of the stakeholders, the principals, the School Boards Association, everybody prefers the Senate version. And so I move that the floor amendment be adopted.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the floor substitute be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The floor substitute is adopted. Senator from Portsmouth, Senator Lucas.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I move that the bill pass, and speaking to that.
Senator, is the floor.
Okay, Mr. President, what the bill does, it eliminates the requirement that school principals report certain enumerated acts that may constitute a misdemeanor offense to law enforcement, and it returns discretion to the school principal on whether to report incidents that constitute a misdemeanor or to handle them through disciplinary process. And with that, Mr. President, I move that the bill pass.
Thank the Senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 257? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 257 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 28, noes 11.
Ayes 28, noes 11. House Bill 257 passes.
House Bill 34, a bill relating to refusal of test, restricted license, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary with amendments.
Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, I move the committee amendments be adopted.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the committee amendments be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendments are adopted. Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass.
Thank you, Senator. You have the floor.
And by way of explanation, House Bill 34 provides that if you're convicted of first offense refusal to have a blood test to determine alcohol content in your blood, the defendant can then petition the court to have a restricted license rather than jail time. And it does not apply in the case of commercial motor vehicle drivers. It only applies in the case of other drivers. That's all it does. With that explanation, I move the bill pass.
Thank you, Senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 34? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 34 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 27, noes 12.
Ayes 27, noes 12. House Bill 34 passes.
House Bill 246, a bill relating to local law enforcement agencies' body-worn camera systems, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary.
Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass House Bill 246.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, what House Bill 246 does is requires localities that adopt a written policy regarding the body-worn cameras and to under a model policy adopted by the Department of Criminal Justice Services and to provide public comment and review of this policy. And with that explanation, I move the bill pass.
Thank the Senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 246? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 246 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 3.
Ayes 36, noes 3. House Bill 246 passes.
House Bill 262, a bill relating to inquiry into immigration status, certain victims or witnesses of crime, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary with a substitute.
Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, I move the committee substitute be adopted.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the committee substitute be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee substitute is adopted. Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, I move that House Bill 262 pass.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, what this does, it prohibits law enforcement officials from inquiring about the immigration status of a person who, one, reports that he is a victim of a crime or is a witness to an investigation of a crime. It does not cover, however, situations where an inquiry is made if a parent or guardian has been arrested for or has been charged with or is being investigated for a crime against a minor, a minor victim. With that explanation, I'll move the bill pass.
Thank you, Senator.
Mr. President.
Senator from Rockingham, Senator Obenshain.
Mr. President, would the Senator from Roanoke City yield for a question?
Senator yield.
I'll be happy to yield, Mr. President.
Senator yield, you have the floor.
Mr. President, what I would ask is that would the Senator from Roanoke City agree that there are situations in which victims of one crime may simultaneously be accused of committing another crime, or they may claim as their defense that to an accusation that they committed a crime that I'm a victim of a crime?
Senator has the floor.
If I understand the question, you could be both a criminal and a victim at the same time, I suppose.
Okay. Further question?
Mr. President, am I correct in my reading of the statute that if the person arrested for committing a crime simply claims that he was a victim of a crime, that this prohibition would prevent law enforcement from inquiring as to the immigration status of that person?
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, you can conjure up fact situations that are ambiguous and would require good judgment on the part of the law enforcement officers.
Further question?
Well, Mr. President, I'll speak to the bill.
Senator, the floor.
What this bill says is it's not a theoretical situation. We have situations all the time in which somebody may claim self-defense, whether in connection with an assault or a murder. And what this bill says is that no inquiry shall be made as to the immigration status of any person who reports that he or she is a victim of a crime. So all you have to do is, as I read this, is report that I'm a victim of crime, even if the overwhelming evidence shows that you were the perpetrator of that crime. It takes away law enforcement discretion and says that they may not if somebody merely says, I was the victim. I think this is a bad bill. I think it's ironic that we're taking this up on the day that the Virginia Sheriff's Association is in town. We're taking away discretion from good men and women in law enforcement to do their jobs.
Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 262? Seeing none, Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, if no one else wishes to speak, the situation from the senator from Rockingham County it wouldn't mean that if somebody without good faith says I'm a victim of a crime and all the circumstances show he's not, it wouldn't apply in that situation. This is why law enforcement officers are always in a position to exercise good judgment and use their intelligence in investigating crimes. So I don't think that situation applies in this case. Thank you,
Mr. President, would the gentleman from Roanoke County or City yield for a question?
Will Senator yield?
I'll be happy to yield.
Senator yield, you have the floor.
Would the gentleman point to the specific language in this bill that gives that good faith discretion to law enforcement officers?
Senator, the floor.
Mr. President, that is what law enforcement officers do, exercise good judgment and good faith in connection with their duties. That's just implied in the duties of a law enforcement officer to use good judgment.
Right. Mr. President, one further question.
Senator yield.
Does that mean it's not in the bill?
Mr. President, there are a lot of things that are not in bills regarding the responsibilities of law enforcement officers.
I thank the gentleman.
Senator, do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 262? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 262 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 20, noes 19.
Ayes 20, noes 19. House Bill 262 passes.
House Bill 284, a bill relating to removal of dangerous roadside vegetation, local option. Reported from the Committee on Local Government with amendments.
Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Mr. President, I move the committee amendments be adopted.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the committee amendments be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendments are adopted. The Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass. And speaking to that motion,
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, with the amendments from the Local Government Committee, this is identical now to Senate Bill 225, which was the legislation by the senator from King George. The body may recall there was a tragic incident in his district, and this deals with the property owner's obligations to remove limbs and overgrowth that may dangerously obstruct the line of sight of a driver. And so, as I said, with that, it conforms to his legislation, Senate Bill 225, and I would move the bill pass.
Thank the Senator. For what purpose, Senator from King George, Senator Stewart, rise? Senator's the floor.
Sorry to speak to the bill. Mr. President, this is identical to the bill that passed the Senate. It took the mandates out. It took the ability of the locality to charge the citizen. So now it's the locality can do it is the way the bill ends up. And we had broad support for the Senate bill. I hope you all will broadly support the House bill.
Thank the Senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 284? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 284 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. House Bill 284 passes.
House Bill 655, a bill relating to conditional zoning for solar photovoltaic projects, reported from the Committee on Local Government with a substitute.
Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Mr. President, I move adoption of the committee substitute.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the committee substitute be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee substitute is adopted. Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass. Speaking to the motion.
Senator, is the floor.
Mr. President, Senate Bill 655 authorizes the locality to include reasonable regulations and provisions for conditional zoning for solar photovoltaic energy projects of more than 5 megawatts. Those proffers can include dedication of real property of substantial value or substantial cash payments for construction of substantial public improvements. This bill is identical to Senate Bill 870, which passed this body, Mr. President, and I would move that the bill pass.
Thank the Senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 655? For what purpose, Senator from Rockingham, Senator Obenchain, rise?
So, Mr. President, if I'm would gentleman from Accomack yield for a question?
Senator yield?
I yield.
Senator yield, you have the floor.
Mr. President, I would ask whether whether this legislation says that local governments can ask for proffers by developers of a solar farm that have no relation to the impact on that community of the improvement. Am I reading that portion of this bill correctly?
Senator, is the floor.
I would say, Mr. President, I would say to the gentleman that is my reading of it as well, but I would yield to the senator from Fairfax County whose legislation this mirrors.
Which of the 7 senators from Fairfax County?
Senator from Western Fairfax, Senator Marsden.
Mr. President, didn't have my folder with me here today on that specific issue. So we could take that by until tomorrow. We'll answer the gentleman's question.
I thank the gentleman.
Senator, without objection, House Bill 655 will go by for the day.
House Bill 696, a bill relating to local human rights ordinances, reported from the Committee on Local Government.
Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass. And speaking to the motion.
Senator, has the floor.
Mr. President, House Bill 696 provides that localities may prohibit discrimination in housing, employment, public accommodations, credit, and education on the basis of sexual orientation and gender. It's a pretty simple concept, and I would move the bill pass.
Thank the Senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 696? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 696 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senator desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 34, noes 5.
Ayes 34, noes 5. House Bill 696 passes.
House Bill 726, a bill relating to comprehensive plan, reported from the Committee on Local Government.
Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass. And speaking to the motion.
Senator, has the floor.
Mr. President, House Bill 726 allows the governing body to approve or disapprove a locality-initiated comprehensive plan amendment for more than 25 parcels from 90 days to 150 days. This is identical to Senate Bill 746, the senator from Loudoun's bill, and I move the bill pass.
Thank the Senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 726? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 726 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, noes 1.
Ayes 38, noes 1. House Bill 726 passes.
House Bill 787, a bill relating to grand jury hate crimes, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary.
Senator from Eastern Fairfax, Senator Surville.
Thank you, Mr. President. Can that bill go by for the day?
Without objection, House Bill 787 will go by for the day.
House Bill 834, a bill relating to order of publication, electronic notice, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary.
Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, move the bill pass.
Senators, the floor.
Mr. President, House Bill 834 is a Boyd Graves conference bill. It simply provides that a notice of an order of publication can be given electronically in addition to publication in the newspapers. It turns out that in some cases it's the target, so to speak, of the notice of the publication may not be in Virginia or even in the country. And some people think that the person having to put the notice should have the option of doing it electronically or by publication in a newspaper. So that's what the bill does. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank the senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 834? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 834 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. House Bill 834 passes.
House Bill 875, a bill relating to a local ordinance on grass cutting, reported from the Committee on Local Government.
Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I move the bill pass. And speaking to the motion,
Senator has the floor.
Everybody's favorite subject, Mr. Chairman, grass cutting. This applies to Planning District 6, which is the Central Shenandoah Valley. It authorizes a locality located in that planning district to enforce on residential land of 1 acre or less in an area zoned for agricultural use, an ordinance requiring owners of property to cut grass, weeds, and other foreign growth on such property. Current law prohibits such an ordinance from applying to land zoned for or in active farming operation. With that said, Mr. President, move the bill pass.
Mr. President.
For purpose, Senator from Rockingham, Senator Obenshain rise.
Mr. President, I rise to speak to the bill.
Senator has the floor.
You know what? Senior senator from Fairfax County loves coming to me and saying, if you vote against these kinds of bills, we're not going to let you do this in your part of the state. I just heard that this is the Central Shenandoah Valley, so I'm rising to speak against this bill. So if the senior senator from Fairfax County wants to prevent us from doing this in my part of the state, you all will vote against this bill.
Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 875? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 875 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 29, noes 10.
Ayes 29, noes 10. House Bill 875 passes.
House Bill 880, a bill relating to protective orders, motions to dissolve filed by petitioner, ex parte hearing and issuance of order, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary.
Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, House Bill 880 simply allows an easier way for the petitioner of a protective order to have it dissolved on an ex parte basis, that is without the other side, with or without a hearing. It provides that the dissolution order should be served also on the respondent, but it's the easier way for the petitioner to get one dissolved. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank the senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 880? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 880 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 30, noes 9.
Ayes 30, noes 9. House Bill 880 passes.
House Bill 1044, a bill relating to unauthorized use of electronic tracking device penalty, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary.
Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, House Bill 1044 just raises from a Class 3 misdemeanor to a Class 1 misdemeanor. The punishment with regard to somebody who installs, let's say, a GPS device and stalks another person. It's just a growing crime that we need to be more cognizant of, so it increases the punishment. That's all it does.
Thank the senator. For what purpose is the senator from Eastern Fairfax? Senator Surville rise. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 1044? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 1044 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 2.
Ayes 36, noes 2. House Bill 1044 passes.
House Bill 1076, a bill relating to carrying concealed weapons, sling bow, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary.
Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass.
Senators, the floor.
House Bill 1076 simply replaces the term slingshot with sling bow. It of those weapons that a person must have a concealed carry permit to carry. Slingshots are very different than sling bows, and I'm not in a position to explain it too much. I don't know about King David. I don't know if he could have taken down Goliath with a sling bow any better than a slingshot. But so slingshots are, you no longer have to have a concealed carry permit if you want to carry it in your pocket and concealed. But you will have to have a concealed carry permit to carry a sling bow that's not open. That's all it does, Mr. President.
Thank the senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 1076? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 1076 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 24, noes 15.
Ayes 24, noes 15. House Bill 1076 passes.
House Bill 1101, a bill relating to affordable housing dwelling unit ordinances, reported from the Committee on Local Government.
Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass. And speaking of that, Senate Bill...
Senators, the floor.
Senate Bill 834 is identical to a bill passed through this body by the senior senator from Richmond City, and so I would yield to the senior senator from Richmond City.
Senior senator from Richmond City, Senator McClellan.
Thank you, Mr. President. House Bill 1101 adds another enabling statute for those localities who want to adopt affordable dwelling unit ordinances to help encourage affordable housing. Most localities find the current enabling statute too cumbersome, so this gives them another option. They can still use the current one if they want to, or they can use this one instead. Thank you.
Thank the senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 1101? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 1101 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senator desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 3.
Ayes 36, noes 3. House Bill 1101 passes.
House Bill 1186, a bill relating to fees for disposal of solid waste, Russell County, reported from the Committee on Local Government with amendments.
Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Mr. President, I move adoption of the committee amendments.
Thank the senator. The question is, shall the committee amendments be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendments are adopted. The senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Mr. President, with adoption of the amendments, this bill is identical to Senate Bill 320 by the senator from Russell. This allows Russell County to level fees by ordinance and after a public hearing for the disposal of solid waste at a county collection or disposal facility, and not to exceed the actual cost incurred by the county in procuring and developing that may be necessary for capping and closing such landfill in the future. The bill adds Russell County to another list, to a list of additional counties already that have that authority. With that, I move the bill pass, Mr. President.
Thank the senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 1186? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 1186 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, noes 1.
Ayes 38, noes 1. House Bill 1186 passes.
House Bill 1232, a bill relating to vacant building registration, reported from the Committee on Local Government.
Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass. Speaking to the motion.
Senators, the floor.
Mr. President, House Bill 1232 adds the town of Timberville to the list of localities that have been that can require the owner of buildings that have been vacant for a continuous period of 12 months or more and that meet the definition of derelict building to register such buildings on an annual basis, and the annual registration fee is not to exceed $100 in order to defray the cost of processing the registration. Failure to register is punishable by a $200 civil penalty and in some cases a $400 civil penalty. With that being said, Mr. President, move the bill pass.
Thank the senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 1232? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 1232 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 2.
Ayes 36, noes 2. House Bill 1232 passes.
Uncontested calendar, House Bill.
Mr. President.
Junior Senator from Virginia Beach, Senator Kiggins.
Mr. President, having voted on the prevailing side of House Bill 875, I move to reconsider the vote by which the bill was passed on page 15.
Page 16.
15.
875?
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. 16.
Okay. It's page 16, House Bill 875. There's a motion for reconsideration. Question is, shall the vote by which House Bill 875 passed be reconsidered? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, noes 0.
Ayes 39, noes 0. The motion is agreed to. Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Mr. President, having previously explained the bill, I move the bill pass.
Thank the senator. The question is, shall House Bill 875 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 28, noes 11.
Ayes 28, noes 11. House Bill 875 passes. Junior Senator from Richmond City, Senator Morrissey.
Mr. President, I rise for a motion.
Senators, the floor.
Let me just preface my motion with saying I apologize for trespassing on the body's time, but I, having voted in the majority, I move to reconsider the vote by which the House bills on the uncontested calendar passed in block. Mr. President, it'll only take a couple of machinations to get where I want to go.
Thank the senator. Question is, shall the vote by which the uncontested House bills passed in a block be reconsidered? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, noes 0.
Ayes 39, noes 0. The motion is agreed to. The junior senator from Richmond City, Senator Morrissey.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, with that having been done, I now move to remove on page 10 HB 1070 from the block.
Without objection, House Bill 1070 is removed from the block. Question is, shall the House bills in the block pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The bills in the block pass.
Page 10, House Bill 1070.
Speaking to the measure, Mr. President.
Junior Senator from Richmond City, Senator Morrissey.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the body, this bill and my vote in committee has troubled me, and here's why. The bill is a 5-word bill that simply removes 18.2.322 from being an offense. The language simply repeals HB 1070. Repeals 18.2.322. Let me read what 18.2.322 that we just repealed a few moments ago does. No person shall spit, expectorate, or deposit any sputum, saliva, mucus, or any form of saliva or sputum upon the floor, stairways, or upon any part of any public building or place where the public assembles, or upon any sidewalk abutting any public street. So what we can now do is, in a public place, including this building, you don't like something, just spit on the floor. Spit on Thomas Jefferson's marble walkway. Spit in the balcony. Spit over the balcony. Spit in any municipal building. Pay your taxes, and you don't like it, spit in that municipal building. Pay your fines, spit. Walk out of the courthouse and spit on the floor. Not on the sidewalk outside, which is illegal, but inside the building. Besides being, and this is not a legal term, just absolutely gross. I'm normally on the side of trying to eliminate criminal penalties. I think we have far more than necessary in the criminal code. But this is one that I like. I don't want people to be allowed to just go into any public building outside, not just outside this building and spit on the marble walkway, but inside. Just because you don't like something, you spit on the carpet. I may be the only person in this body that votes no to that, but I'll tell you this, I was wrong when I voted in committee, but I'm going to vote no to HB 1070, and I hope a few of you others will do as well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
I move House Bill 1070 pass. Mr.
Senator's
President, there is a difference between what's legal and what's decent and moral and good behavior. The question here is the delicate practice of expectorating is not something that's been a problem, and the question is, should it be criminal? That's all it is. With that, Mr. President, I hope the body votes as they wish. Thank you very much.
What purpose does Senator from King George, Senator Stewart, rise?
President.
Senator, has the floor.
Mr. President, I agree with the gentleman from Richmond, and I think somebody voted my proxy the wrong way in committee. I made that determination. But it, to think about this, it is a horrible habit to be doing in public places, and perhaps the reason we don't have a problem with it is because up to this point, you've not been allowed to do it. So I do think we need to vote against this bill.
Thanks, Senator. For what purpose, Senator from Western Fairfax, Senator Marsden, rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to speak to the bill and ask if the senator from Henrico, the doctor senator from Henrico, would resume the floor for a question.
Will Senator yield?
Yeah.
I yield.
Senator Yield, you have the floor.
Would the senator feel like expectorating in public places, especially inside buildings and other facilities like that, poses a health hazard?
Senator has the floor.
Yes, in fact it does. Many viruses are transmitted via sputum, and I'd say it's almost as bad as sewage in the James River. But I will point out to the body that we have a superior subject matter expert here than me in Dr. Pillion.
Yeah. You good? Yeah. For what purpose is the senator from Russell, Senator Chafin, rise?
Mr. President, it's to speak to this bill.
Senator has the floor.
Now, it occurs to me that this bill tries to treat all spitters with equality, okay? and an equal chance for all spitters. But, Mr. President, having traveled around the Commonwealth, and indeed around this nation and even the world, all spitters are not equal, Mr. President. Okay. There are some spitters that you don't want spitting in this chamber. You don't want spitting up there in the gallery or anywhere else. You want some spitters to be confined, Mr. President, by this fine law that remains on the books, unless, Mr. President, this body makes a big mistake today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank the senator. What purpose is the senator from Alexandria, Senator Eben, rise?
To ask if the junior senator from Richmond City would yield for a question.
Will Senator yield?
I'll yield.
Senator yields. You have the floor.
Mr. President, the last time I chewed tobacco, I seem to remember having to expectorate. And I would ask the junior senator from Richmond City if I would be charged under existing law, if it was enforced, $250 for chewing that tobacco, perhaps on a public sidewalk where I was spitting on the lawn.
Senator has the floor.
I would say confidently no. There's not a plethora of warrants being leveled against people for expectorating in public, all right? This is not something that the gentleman, if he were to resume the habit of chewing tobacco and spitting, would have to worry about. And I would also say this. Back in the day when Senator Saslaw was first in the Senate, they used to have these little spittoons that you would expectorate into. We don't have that anymore. On a serious note, let's just consider the following. We're not talking about somebody who is outside and, spits passively into the grass area. We're talking about something that I think is, as my children would say, yucky, disgusting. It's bad enough to walk down a sidewalk and see somebody spit on the sidewalk, but it's a whole lot worse to be able to do what I described earlier in a public building. And I think that the law should remain on the books and that we should not pass this law that repeals 18.2.322. That's simple.
Further question?
Very briefly, speak to the bill.
Senator has the floor.
Let's just repeal this unenforced, antiquated, anti-tobacco big government bill. Big government law by voting yes on the bill.
For what purpose is the senior senator from Richmond City, Senator McClellan, rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. Would the senator from Washington please rise for a question?
Will Senator yield?
I was trying to avoid this, but I yield.
Senator yields. You have the floor.
Mr. President, I find it egregious that the senator from Washington was able to pass not one, I think at least two bills in this body, and he never got hazed. And so I would like to ask the senator from Washington.
Mr. President.
Senator has the floor.
I'd like to ask the senator from. I'd like to ask the senator from Washington if he could please give us his opinion on this fine bill.
And Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, I would reply that I work in the world of spit. And I think that it should be sucked out, not spit out. That didn't come out exactly right, did it?
Oh, get out of here.
Further question?
Yes, Mr. President. Could
Senator
would the
Yield
senator
for further
yield?
With a dental instrument.
Senator,
clean it up, guys. Clean it up.
Senator Yield for further question?
That one went so great, yes.
Senator Yield, you have the floor.
Mr. President, could the senator from Washington please explain to the body what sputum is and the difference between sputum and expectorating?
It's all the same. Spit, sputum, expectorant, all the same. It's gross.
Mr. President, would the senator yield for a final question?
Senator Yield.
I yield.
Senator Yield, you have the floor.
Do you feel appropriately hazed now?
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, I would tell the body I feel hazed every day.
I thank the gentleman.
For what purposes does the senior senator from Virginia Beach, Senator D. Steph, rise?
Mr. President, on a more serious note, speaking against this bill.
Senator has the floor.
See, Mr. President, in my district, a lot of people walk around without shoes or socks on. They walk around at the beach with what we refer to as barefoot. And, Mr. President, whether you call it spit, expectorant, deposit of any sputum, saliva, mucus, or any other form of saliva or sputum, when it arrives on the ground and you're walking barefoot and you step in it, it's just gross. So, Mr. President...
Mr. President, would the gentleman yield for a question?
Hold on.
Mr. President, I'm more than happy to yield.
Senator Yield, you have the floor.
Mr. President, would the gentleman advise me how many times this law was enforced in the city of Virginia Beach in the last 12 months?
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, I'm waiting for a friend to chime in here in a second who is quickly going to respond to that. But I know, in fact, that in my wonderful city of Virginia Beach, that our police department does, in fact, and will, in fact, have a discussion with an individual who may want to deposit spit, expectorant, or any sputum, saliva, or mucus from their mouth onto the ground where folks are walking without any shoes on. And if you think about that, with the two doctors to my left, knowing that saliva is one of the most common forms of transmittal of diseases, that as you walk on it and you itch your feet or whatever you may be doing afterwards, that this is a major issue. And frankly, I think this is a horrible bill, but it's a great code section that, frankly, if you go to the beach, if you're walking in the sand, if you're walking on the boardwalk, and we've got the largest boardwalk in the state of Virginia, also the largest beachfront in the state of Virginia. And, Mr. President, we're extremely proud and happy of that. And, Mr. President, I truly would like people to keep the spit in their mouth, not on the ground where it's going to be stepped on, from individuals who are out playing with their children in the beach and in the ocean and walking up to grab an ice cream on the boardwalk. We truly do want them to keep it in their mouth and not on the ground, because truly it is disgusting. Thank you, Mr. President. With that, I hope everybody would vote against this horrible, horrible bill. It's just one that we should be spitting on. Thank you.
Thanks, Senator. For what purpose does Senator from Loudoun, Senator Bell, rise?
Mr. President, I move the pending question.
Question is, shall the pending question be ordered? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 13, noes 25.
Ayes 13, noes 25. The pending question is not ordered. Debate may resume, but it doesn't need to. Senator from Northern Chesapeake, Senator Spruill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Speaking to the bill.
Senator has the floor.
Has anyone in here ever not spit on the ground? Let's tell the truth. Has anyone here ever just walking and not spit on the grass, on the street, on the ground? Not a one of us has. I'm willing to bet you every one of us in this room has at one time spit on the grass, on the sidewalk. Now, so that's a crime. What about this? Have you ever talked with someone who was talking to you and spit all in your face? Have you ever had that happen? Then can you have them arrested? So I'm saying this law is crazy. Now, if you were talking about inside a building, yes. On a marble sidewalk, yes. But you mean to tell me, as loose lips as some of us are, so this happened to this dribble out of my mouth. I'm in Virginia Beach on the sidewalk. On a hot day in Virginia Beach, on that hot sand, someone spits on the sand. You mean to tell me they can be arrested? This don't make no sense. So if you want to just do it for the joke, keep it on the sidewalk. But if it ever happened in real life, if an officer would ever arrest me for spitting on the sidewalk, I will get my lawyer, Senator Norman, to take care of me. Thank you so much.
Thank the Senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 1070? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 1070 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 14, noes 24.
Ayes 14, noes 24. House Bill 1070 fails.
On page 18, uncontested calendar, House bills on second reading.
Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
Mr. President, I move that all House bills on second reading on the uncontested and regular calendar, pages 18 through 37, that's House Bill 51 through 1623, that the rules be suspended and the second constitutional reading be dispensed with.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the rules be suspended and the second reading of the titles of the House bills on the uncontested and regular calendars, pages 18 through 37, House Bill 51 through House Bill 1623, be dispensed with? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The reading of the titles is dispensed with. Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
Mr. President, I now move that those bills go by for the day.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the House bills on the uncontested and regular calendars now on third reading go by for the day? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bills will go by for the day.
On page 37, uncontested calendar, Senate bills on second reading.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before I make the motion for a special and continuing order, I'd like to remind all the senators to please be sure that tomorrow you have with you the thick booklet of amendments that was on your desk yesterday. Please make sure you have them here tomorrow. Okay. Pursuant to Senate Rule 23A, I move that Senate Bill 29 and Senate Bill 30 be made a special and continuing order at the conclusion of the Senate calendar on Thursday, February 20th, 2020.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall Senate Bill 29 and Senate Bill 30? Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would ask if the gentlelady from Northern Fairfax County would yield for a question, please.
Will Senator yield?
Yes, I yield.
Senator yield, you have the floor.
Mr. President, I would ask the gentlelady to direct her attention to the blue memorandum that is on our desk, because that is what I have a question or two about. Mr. President, my first question is my understanding that the Senate Finance staff is going to give an overview briefing of the budget bills tomorrow. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Would the gentlelady yield for another question,
Senator
please?
yield.
I yield.
Senator yield. You have the floor.
There has been some discussion about the submission of floor amendments on the budget prior to the overview briefing by Senate Finance staff, which makes the erroneous assumption that everyone in here has read the budget. Mr. President, my question is that third from the bottom paragraph, it indicates that there may be a recess for caucuses to meet. And is it my understanding that after those caucuses have met and after the Senate Finance staff has provided a briefing that other objections to the budget from the floor may be offered? Is that correct?
Senator's floor.
Okay. I thank the lady.
And if
Thanks,
I
Senator.
may add,
Senator's the floor.
it would be nice if all members did come to the briefing. In the past, many have not.
Thank the senator. And the senator's current motion is regarding the special and continuing order. Question is, shall Senate Bill 29 and Senate Bill 30 be made a special and continuing order at the conclusion of the Senate calendar on Thursday, February 20th, 2020? All in favor of agreeing to the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senator desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The special and continuing order is set, Senate Bill 29 and Senate Bill 30, at the conclusion of the Senate calendar on Thursday, February 20th, 2020. Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
Mr. President, now I'd ask that Senate Bill 29 and Senate Bill 30 be passed by for the day.
Thank the senator. The question is, shall Senate Bills 29 and 30 go by for the day? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Senate Bills 29 and 30 will go by for the day.
Returning to page 7, House Bill 738.
Mr. President?
Senator from Roanoke County, Senator Suderline.
It doesn't appear that there's any votes for an amendment, so I would gladly yield to the chair of local government.
Senator from Mackinac, Senator Lewis.
That's me, Mr. President, and having previously explained the bill, I'm renewing my motion that the bill pass.
Thank the senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 738? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 738 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 3.
Ayes 36, noes 3. House Bill 738 passes. Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
Mr. President, I inquire of the clerk, does that complete the calendar for today?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. For what purpose, Senator from Augusta, Senator Hanger rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for purposes of an announcement.
Thank you, Senator. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, at 7, the Sportsman Caucus will be meeting. And then at 7:30, the Outdoor Recreation Caucus will be meeting on the third floor, 300E, I believe it is. So I would invite those that are interested in outdoor recreation activities, including expectorating, to come join us.
Thank the senator. For what purpose does the senior senator from Chesapeake, Senator Cosgrove, rise?
For point of personal privilege, Mr. President.
Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, February 19th, 1945, 75 years ago today, the assault of a small island known as Iwo Jima by the United States Marine Corps began. The United States Marine Corps, known to be the most lethal and feared fighting force that's ever set foot on this planet. From February 19th through March 26th, 1945, the brave members of the Marine Corps fought for 5 weeks in a battle that is known to be the fiercest and bloodiest battle that was fought in the Pacific Theater during World War II. The United States, the most iconic photograph taken during World War II was that of the raising of the flag of the United States on Mount Suribachi on Iwo Jima. And as many know, the photo is the inspiration for the United States Marine Corps Memorial in Arlington, Virginia. The United States forces suffered over 6,000 killed in action and over 20,000 wounded during the battle. And I do not believe that we can ever imagine the pain and sacrifice that our Marines went through and endured, nor can we imagine the bravery and determination that they showed in this epic battle. And I pray to God we never will see a battle like that again. Mr. President, I want to recognize two of our colleagues today. Two of our colleagues here in the Senate of Virginia are former Marines. There's no such thing as an ex-Marine. So to Senator Stewart and to Senator Edwards, I thank you for your service in the Marine Corps. And I also simply say, Semper Fi.
Thank you, Senator. Do any other senators wish to be recognized? Is there any other business to come before the Senate? Seeing none, the clerk will report any announcements on the desk.
Today, Wednesday, February 19th, 2020, the Committee on General Laws and Technology will meet 1/2 hour after adjournment in Senate Room 3 in the Capitol. The Committee on the Judiciary will meet 1/2 hour after adjournment in Senate Room A, Pocahontas. The Virginia Legislative Black Caucus will meet at 5:00 p.m. in House Subcommittee Room 300B, 3rd floor, Pocahontas. Tomorrow, Thursday, February 20th, 2020, the Hampton Roads Caucus will meet at 7:30 a.m. in Senate Subcommittee Room 1, 5th floor, Pocahontas. The Committee on Education and Health will meet at 8:00 a.m. in Senate Room A, Pocahontas. The Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources Subcommittee on Companion Animals will meet at 9:00 a.m. in Senate Subcommittee Room 1, 5th floor, Pocahontas. Senators Marsden, Favola, and Pillion. The Democratic Caucus will meet at 11:30 a.m. in Senate Room 1 in the Capitol. The Republican Caucus will meet at 11:30 a.m. in Senate Room 2 in the Capitol.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there any other business to come before the Senate? Seeing none, call Senator from Portsmouth, Senator Lucas.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate do now adjourn until 12 noon tomorrow.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the Senate stand adjourned until 12 noon tomorrow? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Senate stands adjourned until 12 noon tomorrow.